everyone. Very good afternoon to all of you. Welcome to BYJU'S Exam Prep. Welcome to your XAT preparation strategy. We have already covered reading comprehension. We have covered decision making and critical reasoning. So what is left? We are left with verbal ability prep strategy. Now, many of you, I know you will ask me like, what is the purpose of verbal ability prep? And many of you who've been combining your CAT and XAT preparations tend to neglect this section. And it's very sad because good English means good verbal ability, which means the ability to use words. Good afternoon, Subramaniam. Grammar and vocabulary. Therefore, you want to do well in any aptitude test, and this is also useful for CAT. Don't think, in fact, many of my students have been saying, let me finish CAT and then I'll start preparing for XAT. That is not the right way to do it. You can't say, I will first learn how to play a test match, then I will learn the techniques of a one-day international, then I'll learn the techniques of a T20. Don't do that. Batting is the same. English is the same for all. You just need to change your strategy. You just need to change your focus. And in XAT, the focus can be on grammar and vocabulary because it means a huge difference to your percentiles. If you get the grammar and vocabulary questions right, and you can, it's easy, it's doable, it's just like maths. There are certain rules and you follow them and you'll know it. Good afternoon, Varun. So remember, and this preparation will help you in CAT 2, in your parajumbles, in your summary. More than that, after CAT, in your interviews to write good WAT essays for WAT section. So today's session is important. It is important from the CAT perspective, though CAT doesn't ask any direct vocabulary and grammar questions. You're sitting through half an hour. We are not doing too much. Vocabulary is important. It will help you answer questions easily. A CAT question. One year CAT has used this word, prognosticate. That was the correct answer actually. This was the part of the correct answer. Students who didn't know the meaning of prognosticate did not understand the answer. There was a year when CAT used a synonym of a word used in the passage. The passage used the word cleave, and students who didn't know the meaning of the word cleave thought the other thing. There was another one. They said conflate issues, and people see any use of the word con has something to do with together. Conflating issues means joining them together, merging them together. So somebody, the passage said two ideas should be distinct. The author's theory is wrong because it's treating them as the same, and people got it wrong. So a good vocabulary will help in whether it's CAT, XAT, whatever exam you're taking. All right, and today is a short session, but I've tried to make it interesting. So if you get a fill in the blanks question, you get it in NMAT. All of you who are taking NMAT, who still have the dates for NMAT coming up, this is useful for you. Because NMAT asks grammar, NMAT asks sentence correction, sentence completion, right? So whenever you get a fill in the blanks question, rule number 1, read the sentence completely before you start thinking of the options. When you read the sentence, treat it as if you are saying it, as if I am telling you what is a map. Then automatically you will have certain shadow words for the blanks. You will at least have an idea if you want A, B, C or D. Okay, now the first thing to do is look at the correct word for the first option, and with that itself you can eliminate a lot of options. After that, you say, okay, since I need these 2 words, the other 3 don't work, so I have A and B, and C and D and E can go. And then you look at only A and B and decide from the second to the third option. No need to try to fit in everything. Once you decide A looks like the correct option, only then you read the entire sentence and fit all the words. All right, so what do you think is the answer to this one? I got some answers so far. A map is a useful metaphor for our brain when talking about what? X. Because at its most basic level, our brain dash to be our atlas of sorts, a system of routes dash to navigate us towards just one destination. And what is that? Staying alive. All right, is a useful metaphor for our brain when talking about perception, understanding, connections, design, or comprehension. All right, now if you say understanding, I will ask why not comprehension? I'm just asking you, Subramanyam. If you say it is understanding, because understanding is the same thing as comprehension, so understanding and comprehension won't work, no? Why not A? Why not B? So are the other words wrong? Okay, so then you are saying between B and E. Okay, all right, even if you think it's B, we will go forward. I'm not saying B is correct, but because Subramanyam and Varun both have mentioned B, let's look at B. When we are talking about understanding, because at its most basic level, our brain progressed to be our atlas of sorts. Did the brain, you talk of progress of the brain? Do you talk of progress of civilizations? When you talk of changes in our human body, changes in organs, what is the word that is used? Is progress a better word? Just think. All right, and of roots, a system of roots, the roots have been shaped to navigate. What does that mean? All right, the main problem here is understanding of your situation. Understanding of what? Okay, so I'm not very happy with understanding, but I'm definitely not happy with the use of the word progress. Therefore, I look for something better. Varun thinks development is a better word. All right, then which of these is gives the impression of development rather than progress, Varun? Since development is not developed, okay, but we are not talking of design, right? So understanding and comprehension, metamorphosed, we can't say the brain totally changed, so E is out. Then we are not very happy with B. So which other word comes closest to understanding? Your, what you think something is, your idea of things. Now look at A. A map is a useful metaphor for our brain when talking about perception. Perception is what? Your perception of something is different from mine. Why? Your understanding of what a thing is, I understand, but perception is your view. It means something deeper than just view. Therefore, perception is a better word. And don't you use the word evolve. We have all evolved. First we were like this, Neanderthals and this and that, Homo sapiens. So evolved is a better word. Now you put the words there and you will see that A is the perfect answer. Clear? All of you? Now look at the second one and try not to make the mistake you made the first. Again, don't be in a hurry to give me your answer. Read the entire thing. Use a little bit of what does the author mean to say? Which one expresses it clearly and grammatically correctly? Both. You have to see in terms of clarity of meaning and correct usage, right? Read. Dash, medicine has been operated by trial and error. In other words, dash. We know by now that there can be entirely dash connections between symptoms and treatments, and some medications succeed in medical trials for mere random reasons. So what's the tone of the passage? Medicine has been operated by trial and error. Some medications succeed in medical trials for random reasons. There's no great reason why it. No, you can't explain. It's just random. It's just luck that medicine is medical trials have succeeded. Now you know the tone. Look at the meanings. Look at the words and decide which is the right one. key is in other words, one here. In other words, so there are Q words. So in other words, for what? For trial and error. So the word you want in the second option is another way of saying trial and error, right? And then you decide for the first option, what will you do? Ankita, I'll just tell you one reason. Grammatically, do we say initially medicine has been operated? We will say initially this was done. Pehle ye hota tha, now it is. When it started, this was done. So initially is not used with has been. Initially the state was this, now it is this. So you don't use has been with initially. That's where your grammar comes in. Okay, and randomness ka other word cannot be statistically. We want trial and error. It has been operated by trial and error. What does trial and error mean? Statistically, no. Numbers, using numbers statistically. Trial and error ka in other words, traditionally you can use, but is trial and is analytically another a substitute for trial and error? Varun, the key is here. It has operated by trial and error. In other words, you don't have a plan. B hoga ya C hoga. So you go for CAT and you say, okay, let me do one thing. First 5 questions I'll mark B. Second 5 questions I'll mark C. In one mock I have done it. I got high mark, so let me do it. Now when you come out of CAT and you realize काम नहीं किया, that was an error. So trial and error ka the other meaning is randomly. You're just using it. There is no good afternoon Rajat. There is no scientific or logical reason for you to do it. So the other word for trial and error is randomly. You don't use has been with any of these. Only historically or formerly. And the problem is arbitrarily. Historically has been nahi hoga, was. So formally or traditionally will work, but the problem is analytically it doesn't work. So what's your correct answer? Historically it was, we use. Yeah, historically we use. Okay, that is wrong. Formally it was done, we say. Random for accidentally reasons, this will work. Between A and E, arbitrarily and fortuitous connections. Which one works better? A or E? Formerly also we say was. Formerly this pehle hota tha. So formerly also I will say has been. Traditionally this was the method, has been. The only thing that works is E. Historically has been. Otherwise randomly and accidental works, arbitrarily and fortuitous work. Fortuitous means by chance, lucky. Lucky coincidence is fortuitous. So my answer will be E. Alright, so whenever you're looking at XAT, fill in the blanks, it looks big. I mean, you have so many lines, right? 5, 6. But the key is always, the clue is in 1 or 2. You're lucky to know those 1 or 2, either grammar or the meaning, then you're set. The rest you don't even have to check, but I normally check because you lose a lot of marks otherwise. All right, let's look at the third one. It's a narrative. He's narrating some story from a book. Therefore, it's called historical narrative when they use present tense when they're telling a story. So it initially sounds a little awkward, but then when you read it, you understand. Harsh says it's A. Okay. If you're taking this much time to answer, you're on the wrong track. First, look at only the first word you would use. Only the first word. Harsh got it because he must have only looked at the first word. Is it less or fewer? What will you use for gold? What's the word you use for gold? Is gold a countable noun? I have many golds in my house, do you say? I have many more golds than Ambani. We can't say. So what will you say? Right? Oh, sorry. Why is this suddenly gone dark? 1 minute. Um, 1 minute. I think my power is. Okay. I'm set. No, gold you can't use fewer. When do you? So this is a question of grammar again. Fewer is used for number. Gold you talk in terms of amount. So gold ke liye less you use. Fewer students are attending today's class. When you talk of numbers, gold is an uncountable noun in the sense that it is always expressed as an amount. The bride was given a lot of gold. Bride was wearing a lot of gold. Gold costs a lot. We don't say gold cost a lot. We don't say golds. Sona. Kitna sona hai, we say. Right? How much or how many? What do you use for gold? So the word you want is less here. If less is the word you want, so is it A or C? Those are the only two options. Then you go to the next one. Is it sometime? Kuch samay ke liye, as opposed to sometimes. We don't say sometimes, it is sometime. So what do you need? They had less gold than the Tyrrells until this happened. On the other hand, the Northern Army has fewer soldiers. Less number becomes fewer. You don't say less soldiers. Okay? So fewer, and then read. Then, okay, this is less and this is fewer. So these two options won't give me. So you have to choose between sometime and sometime. Now this is not even a. I'll meet you sometime in the afternoon. Give me, okay, if I ask you to answer a question and I'll say, okay, I'll give you 5 minutes. You'll say, give me some more time. I need some time. What you mean is, kuch samay chahiye. Then this some is a separate word and time is a separate word. This some is an adjective. I mean, I need a lot of time to solve this question. I need more time. I need some time. I'm not specific about how much time I need. Therefore, my correct answer is A, not even C. Sometimes means, how often do you eat outside? How often do you eat out? You will say, on weekdays, I eat in the office. Weekends, I eat out. Sometimes, even weekends, I eat at home. Okay? That means in a week, if you do it for 3 times out of 5 or 2 times out of 5, you can say sometimes. Okay? Kuch baar. That's how you mean. Alright? So here we don't want sometime. So my correct answer is, for some time we have not seen any book from this man. Okay, sometimes you make this mistake. Okay, don't do it too many times. Alright, so sometime, kuch samay ke liye he hasn't. For some time we haven't seen so many hit movies being released at the same time at the box office. Right, 3-4 movies doing well suddenly. Yeah, so PS1, then you have a movie called Kantara, which also doing well. Then you have some other movie doing well suddenly, right? Okay. Here all the words seem very tough. Okay, if you know one word, you can guess this. So I'm asking you to almost guess this, but if you know, okay, I'll give you just one clue, that nonchalant and insouciant mean the same thing. Nonchalant, you don't care too much about. You have a very nonchalant attitude towards cat. Hoga to hoga, nahi to nahi, it doesn't matter. And the same thing you can say, I don't care if you say, that's an insouciant attitude. All right. So they mean the same thing. All right. I'm giving you the meaning of that word. Will that help? Ennui means boredom. Okay, just boredom, because you go to the same thing again. Let's say you've taken 20 mocks. By sometimes it happens, I tell students that 1 week, 3 days before CAT, start relaxing. If you take too many mocks, by the time you actually take CAT, you will say, oh, what am I doing? So you're hit by ennui, boredom, which is bad. But if you look at CAT and say, this is just like one more mock, why do I bother? I'm going to do well anyway, then you'll do well. Ennui means boredom, doing the same thing again and again and again. Okay? Okay, now decide which is the right one. Even if you know 2 words out of the 5 given, you can answer. Okay, Rajat thinks it's E, Subramaniam, Varun, all think it's E. All right, just remember uh, E, nonchalant person will work, insouciant person will get. Okay, what does this mean? He engaged in a or an dash with his boss. Now you don't have any options given. He thought himself as a person who doesn't care much, insouciant or nonchalant person. His boss's abusive behavior made him talk back. I would normally not react, but this guy's abusive behavior is making me talk back. Okay, however, though has been given, so his boss's abusive behavior made him talk back, give it back. However, as he engaged in, a and an, how can you engage in an ennui? Tell me. Engage in, you and I are now engaged in a conversation, right? Engaged in a debate, engaged in an argument. But how can you engage in an ennui? Ennui matlab boredom, I told you. So it, how can you engage in a philippic? Philippic means criticism, okay, abusive criticism. But how can you engage in a philippic? You are talking to your boss, so the boss's response can be called a very harsh criticism. All right, so you engage in a remonstration with his boss, or you remonstrate is to protest, to debate, to object to something. So when your boss is giving very abusive treatment, abusive behavior, you argue with him. So you engage in a remonstration, but in response, your boss used even terrible, more critical, abusive language. He engaged, he was, all you got was a philippic, and ये तो हर वक्त होता है. This guy is always abusive behavior. So you were filled with ennui, boredom. We're going back to the same stuff again. This guy has become worse by my talking back, by my objections. So you're filled with ennui. Again, he's yelling at me. All right. No, this exam, when this came, the students said we looked at the words, didn't understand anything, didn't even attempt it, which is fine. I'm just trying to tell you what kind of words they give you. Okay. All right. Next one. Read the entire sentence, understand the meaning. Then it's easy because the words you which are here are all easy. You know the meanings of these words. So now you have to understand what is the speaker trying to say, what's the meaning of the sentence, which words would make complete this sentence meaningfully. Okay, Apurva and Varun, Those are the, give me the question numbers, otherwise I'm getting confused. 5A, you are saying it is Apurva and Varun. What about the others? Pay off the returns you're getting, right? The payoff from dash in education is so dash and dash that it's almost dash as a predictor of economic change over a 5 to 10-year period. Expenditure will work, investment will work, right? Only productivity is something you're not very sure of. So now we'll look at the second. The expenditure in education is so small and insignificant. It's so small, it's so insignificant that it's irrelevant. Makes sense. I saw some answer for D. All right. The investment, the payoff from investment is so slow and erratic. The payoff from your investment in education. Do you talk of your investment payoff being, normally what's the word you use with returns? Again, just telling you which is a better word. The time, the investment, the payoff is so slow, or the payoff is benefits, the returns you're getting, you talk in terms of slow and fast or big and small? यहाँ पे predictable as a predictor makes it, so therefore better word than slow is small. The returns that you get, the payoff, the benefit that you get from your expenditure in education, investment is also a very good word, is so small and insignificant. So small and insignificant go together that it is irrelevant. Itna kam hai, it doesn't make sense. Predictable word as a predicator, it's so predictable that's useless as a predictor, doesn't work. Okay, again we talk of returns as being big or small, not so much as slow and fast, right? So therefore the correct answer is again A. I've used all past year questions, so I all the A's are not of choice and not always they are A, but I'm just telling you. All right. Next, so in English, when you're preparing for that, again, before that, we will again be talking to you about this, is look at commonly confused words. That's one area that you get lots of questions. They give you 5 paragraphs with 5 blanks where every word that is given to you is, you're never sure, like imminent, continuous, continual, advice, all these. Okay, so when you're looking at words, look at commonly confused words, and that also looks at big words like retribution, remonstration, things like that, probity. So some of the words that have been asked, ambivalent, ambiguous. All right, so prepare. When you're preparing for that, the first thing you're looking at is commonly confused words. The second thing is powerful verbs and tough adjectives. Okay, those are the 3 areas you need to be focusing on. All right, okay, next we come to grammar. Which of the following sentences, I've just picked up some questions from grammar just to tell you, these are again based on common error areas, and we'll talk about, okay, if you are looking at preparing for that, what are the areas you're going to look at? One is common errors in terms of usage. All right, which preposition should follow a particular word? Is it unique from or different from or further, or what is it? Okay, so this question will, and or but, use of conjunctions. All right, so what is the answer for 6? What do you think is the right way? Which of the sentences is correct in using all the words correctly? Vikram's approach to the problem was unique from Harpreet's, and he hadn't expected no criticism from her. His approach was different from Harpreet's, but he hadn't expected no criticism from her. His approach was different from Harpreet's, but he had expected this has to be underlined. Okay, no criticism from her. His approach was unique from Harpreet's. Further, he hadn't expected no criticisms from her. His approach was different from Harpreet's, and he had expected no criticism from her. Ankita thinks it is E, Varun thinks it is C, Harsh also thinks it's C. C or E. Those are the two that we seem to be looking at. All right. Let's look at, always when you're given 5 sentences expressed in 5 different ways, read the first sentence, okay, and try to identify the error here itself. Vikram's approach to the problem was unique from. Now, unique is a superlative in its normal form. It does not take a comparative. When you say somebody or something is unique, it means he and she is different from everything else. So unique from somebody else's, or more unique and less unique, you can't say. Unique, full stop. That's it. Understood? So unique from his, it doesn't take a comparative. This is rounder than that, wrong. Squarer than that, wrong. Square, round, unique, perfect. Though we say the most perfect thing, but that is different. That's idiomatic English. So unique from, unique cannot be used as a comparative. His approach to the problem was different from, then you get a question. Here all different froms have been given. Otherwise the confusion is it different from or different than, right? Both are accepted, though this is considered more correct. All right, different from is what you come across more often. But he hadn't expected no criticism from her, right? This double negative is not correct. His approach was different, but he had expected no criticism from her. That's correct. Okay, further, he hadn't expected no criticism. The same double negative. Always eliminate all those with the same error, right? And he had expected no criticism. You're different, so and does not make sense here. But even if it was different, he hadn't expected. Otherwise, the second part of the sentence doesn't have a function. Therefore, the correct answer is C. All right? Okay. Which one is correct in terms of meaning and grammar? What's the right answer for 7? I'll not read it aloud. I might give the game away. What's the right answer for question 7? It's based on 2 rules. A rule of parallelism, that the sentence, all the parts of the sentence have to be balanced, and also correlative conjunctions, words like not only, but also, not, but, either, or have to be, the conjunctions have to be in pairs, expressed correctly and expressed parallelly. So the choice seems to be between A and D from your answers, lots of A's and some D's. All right. So let's look at A and D, right? I want to join an MBA college. Is it a MBA college? M is a consonant. No. Is it okay to say an MBA college? I'm asking. I'm not saying it's correct or wrong. I'm asking you, is it correct? This is the doubt I have. We say an MBA college because it is the sound of the word that is important, and MBA has the sound M. Therefore, the sound is a vowel sound. I want to join an MBA college. That is not only the best in the country, but also provides the best campus jobs. Okay. Second one, D. I want to join an MBA college that is not only good, but also I can get a good job. All right, not good job. All right. MBA college that is not only good, you are comparing it with, but also I can get a good job. So here it's not as parallel, but more than that, this is the missing A here. I can get a good job, which also provides students or can place students in a good job. Therefore, A is the best answer. Vowel sound, that's correct. All right, so the answer is A. All right, the next one. I know I chose a punctuation question deliberately so that we will quickly get in some rules of punctuation. Okay, you don't have to know all the punctuation marks. The main thing is full stop, comma, colon, and semicolon, and quotation marks. All right. B and C, this should be. Chatterjee loves books, semicolon. Therefore, he reads them all the time. Is this correct? Chatterjee loves books, full stop. Therefore, comma, he reads them all the time. Chatterjee loves books and therefore reads them all the time. Harsh, what's wrong with C? Since you said A and B only, what is wrong with C? So the rule is, when do you use a semicolon? You use a semicolon to join two sentences which are connected very closely, right? And you use them to join two main clauses. What does that mean? Look at this sentence. Chatterjee loves books, right? Subject, verb, object is there. Complete idea in itself. Okay. He reads them all the time, therefore he reads them all the time, and he reads them all the time. It doesn't matter because this is also a complete thought in itself. So these are two main clauses, and you're joining it with a semicolon and therefore. Therefore, A is considered a proper, not a subordinating conjunction. So it's joining two equal types of clauses together. So this is correct. He loves books. Now you don't want to join the sentences together. You want to express them as two different sentences. So you will put a comma there. All right. Not comma comes before and. Why not after and? Oh, and therefore. No, this is correct. Why? I'll tell you. Oxford comma can be used before and, but here you are setting off therefore. That's why you have given a comma here and a comma here. So the therefore is just it's called a conversation marker. Okay, so he loves books and reads them all the time. And because you are using therefore, just say as a conversational marker, you have set it off with commas. There's nothing wrong with it. So the correct answer is A, B, C. All right. All right. Next one. Therefore, Harsh has been set off by two commas because that's that additional word which is actually not required. Even if you remove it, the question makes sense. All right, ninth one. Patna is not only the capital of Bihar, but it's also one of the oldest cities in the world and the largest city in the state. Patna is not only the capital of Bihar, nevertheless also one of the oldest. Bihar's capital city, it's also one of the older. Bihar's capital, it's also one of the older. Which one is better? I myself confused if I read it. So you read the original sentence and decide whether it's right or wrong and how would you express it better. Not only is followed by but also, now remember, Patna is, okay, not only the capital of Bihar, but it is required or not. You actually don't need to use it is. But since it is there, none of the other options are good. So you say, okay, this is the one. Oldest, older than any other city. So older, older, older here goes. Okay. And nevertheless doesn't make sense here. Okay. A. All right. Question on parallel. It isn't required. You don't need. Not only, and because Patna has already been given. So we know the subject is Patna. You don't need it after that. But here they don't give, they ask you which is the best way. They don't say which is the perfectly correct option. So you're not looking at a perfect sentence as an option. Okay. All right. 10th one. Yeah. Yeah, Harsh. In 9, what was the doubt you had? It isn't required. I know. Is also, but also is enough. All options have it is also. Nevertheless was not given. How is it different? One of the oldest cities. A is different from what is already underlined. No, A is so there are two ways. Here, when they give you the underlined part, generally A is that means no change required. Either A is unchanged the way it is given, or E will be no change required. Generally, sometimes they even mess up in that. That's how it is in GMAT also. When they give you a sentence with an underlined part in it, or even if they rephrase a sentence in 5 different ways, A is given the same. A is normally the same version as the question. So if you think the original question had no mistake in it, you mark A. If there is something wrong, then you look at what was the mistake in B to E. All right. In aptitude tests in India, we normally change the options and we give you one option saying no change is required. So just to increase the stress levels, that you don't fall into a pattern. All right. Okay. Next one. Question on parallelism. To be a great manager requires strong interpersonal skills. And so this highlighted portion, I'm going to underline it so that you know. Strong interpersonal skills, the ability to think fast, and demands a can-do attitude. Which one? Okay, Vishesh has already given his answer. What about the rest? Which one is parallel and expressed best without any mistake? Parallelism means expressing. So when you are expressing 3 or 4 actions, items in a series, the rule is you have to express them in a similar manner. All right. So to be a great manager requires 3 things. What does it require? strong interpersonal skills, the ability to think fast. We can't say fast thinking ability, sounds bad. The ability to think fast and a can do attitude. Now, why would you put demand here? Requires has told you what you require. So, options which have demands in it are wrong. All right. Now, what is different here? Requires strong interpersonal skills and ability to think fast, but with why? What is the purpose of the but there, right? D also no, because it's used demands again. Requires is the common verb. Requires this skill, and this skill. So you don't need any other verb here. The ability to think fast is a skill. Interpersonal skills is a skill and a can-do attitude. Therefore, the correct answer will be B. Strongest interpersonal skills, the ability to think fast and a can-do attitude. C, requires strong, demands the ability to think fast, and so here demands changes the meaning of the sentence. So the correct answer is B, not C. Okay. All right. Think of this. 11 is slightly more difficult. Think which one express what is the intended meaning of the author, and which one is the best sentence to express that meaning. Think only like that. Demands for parallelism is redundant. Yes. Parallelism is a common area of error which is tested when the exam has this pattern of error detection instead of one sentence being divided into 5 parts. So IFT, NMAT, XAT will all ask you in this form. Right? That gives them an option to test your grammar further. Okay, earlier CAT used to, till almost till 2000, we had sentence correction in CAT also. Economic theory fails to explain the extent to which savings from personal income has shifted to short-term. So this is the underlined portion which has been highlighted, actually given in bold. Read immediately, you will come across it. Read properly. What are we talking about? Varun, subject-verb agreement. What are we talking about? What does economic theory fail to explain? Yes, Vishesh. Vishesh, D is okay. I'm not saying you're correct or wrong. But why not E? Varun, B, what are we talking about? First ask yourself what we are talking about. And then decide if it is, yeah, why did you change to D? Because we are talking of savings from personal income. Savings is plural, so you can't say has shifted or has been. Savings, okay? Savings have been shifted or have shifted? We have shifted our savings. So not have been shifted. Savings have shifted from this place to another. Okay? Our savings, our focus of our savings has gone from A to B. Not E, have been shifted. It's not some physical attribute. Okay, it has been shifted. Have shifted from A to B. All right. All right. Now, quick questions because we're running out of time. We'll do concepts, only concepts. Okay, this is idiomatic usage. Though I studied hard, but still, or X is for no word required. All right. Though I studied hard, but I could not pass the test. Still, I could not pass the test, or just could not pass the test. Okay, though and although do not take a but or a still, that is redundant. Therefore, no and nothing required. I studied very hard, but I failed. Though I studied very hard, I failed. All right. So no word required there. Next one. The chairman and managing director has or have gone to Switzerland. Still is not required. Not required. Though is there, still is not required. But is not required. Yet is not required. All right. Aditya, are we talking of two people or one? Uh, oh, Aditya's answer is for the earlier question. 13, 13. I'm asking for 13. 12, I have seen your answers. For 13, I want now. Nothing required, Rajat, correct. There's a lag. I didn't, yeah, I'm getting the answers now. 13, question. Give me the question numbers, guys. Quickly, let's do this. The chairman and MD has or have gone to Switzerland. A is has, B is have. What do you think it is? So here you are asking yourself, are we talking of two people or one person? If it is one person, the same person who's CMD, then we have to say has. If they are two people, then we have to say have. We are talking of one person because the second noun has not taken an article before it. All right, so the answer is has. We are talking of only one person. If it were two people, then another the has to be used before the managing director. The chairman and the managing director have gone out. But here I'm only saying the chairman and managing director, one person. So I have to say has. Got it? All right, next one. Either the vice president or his secretary has or have taken the CD. Question 14. Either the VP or his secretary has or have taken the CD. What do you think I should use? Either the VP or his secretary. Okay, when you have two subjects joined by or, both are singular, so the verb has to be singular. Okay, so it has to be has. All right, subject verb agreement questions are asked quite often, as you see savings. Okay, I hope everyone has come or have come. Everyone is considered singular or plural. That's how you have to, that's all you need to know. Everyone is considered singular, so it has to be has come. So guys, when you're talking of grammar, the 4 areas in grammar that you need to look out for is first, usage. Okay, though and yet, not only but also, either or. Second is subject verb agreement. All right, only after that are parallelism, tenses, all right, modifiers, all other subjects. Usage and subject verb agreement would be your first priority when you're working on grammar. And then after that, do tenses and parallelism and modifiers and other things. All right. So I hope you found that useful. By the way, if you still haven't taken NMAT, our All India Open mock for NMAT is open from 14th October to 22nd, patterned exactly on the latest. In fact, some of our students who took the test, some of my colleagues who took the test uh, in the slots which are already done have also tried to we created the mock keeping that in mind, so it should be very useful for your NMAT strategy. Take that, register and take. CAT comprehensive program for CAT 2023 is on. CAT test series is on if you don't want to take the comprehensive program. And we're going to start the last lap for CAT from today, 7 p.m. today. Last lap sessions. This is definitely something you should attend. We have 20 sessions, the best questions, the best faculty, and will help you in boosting your scores in CAT overall. All right. And make sure you subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon so that you get notifications of all our classes and you don't miss a single one. All right, I will see you again very soon in one of the sessions. Until then, study hard, stay safe. Bye-bye. All right, bye guys.